This is your beginner's guide to yoga, or as we can also call it, a back to basics. So I want to be able to offer to you a gentle flow of yoga that reestablishes the foundational core of the poses that you'll be doing in many classes that you attend. So we'll just start in a gentle seat before we get moving too much. I'm off my mat right now because I have it a little further behind me so that you can see me as I stand. So coming into our seat, finding your legs crossed with one foot in front of the other, doesn't matter which, and putting your weight pretty evenly between the hips, allowing the spine to find some length, drawing the shoulders over the hips. You might feel a little discomfort, a little tension in the back, a little tension in the hips. It's perfectly normal. Readjust yourself as necessary. You can also stick a pillow under your hips or a folded blanket or a bolster if you have one. Whatever makes you feel most comfortable in this seat. To begin to draw your awareness inward, notice as my eyes are closed, I invite you to do the same. We're not changing the breath yet, we're just noticing how it feels to sit in this seat, completely relaxed. Be a witness to your breath, and just watch the inhales and the exhales as they rise and fall. You may start to notice your mind beginning to wander, and just allow that to come back. Wrangle that monkey mind in, bring your brain and focus back into your breathing. I know you've got a lot on your agenda today, or maybe you did a lot already, whichever way. But we are in our sacred time here and now. So this is your invitation to give yourself permission to let go of everything and just be for a little while. And we'll take some deep breaths together, inhaling and exhaling through the nose, starting on an inhale and exhale. We'll take 4 more. Last one. And just sit again with gentle breath. Notice if you're feeling a difference in your body. Mine is inviting me to sit up a little straighter, grow my spine a little taller. And once we start to bring consciousness to the breath demands to be breathed. And so it's inviting a posture that gives the ability for more breath and more space. With your next inhale, we'll take the arms from the floor, reaching through the side body, and drawing the fingertips all the way up. You can open the eyes and follow the fingertips to the sky. And exhale, draw the hands back down to side body. We'll do that again a couple of times. We're just starting to wake the body up. Let's do 2 more. Starting to feel really good. And exhale. Inviting the hands back to the knees. We can take some shoulder rolls, inhaling the shoulders up and exhaling the shoulders back. This is going to give you a really good introduction into later in the practice when I invite you to roll the shoulders down and back and away from the ears. Because most of the time we're stuck here when really we should be here. Shoulders down and back and heart open. Now we can go the other way, so inhaling them, rolling from the back up and then forward and down. Inhale up, exhale down. Take one more inhale up. And exhale, drop the shoulders. Give everything a little shake out. Shake the hands out. Bounce the shoulders a little bit. Find a comfortable place in your seat. Maybe even switching the feet to talk to your hips a little bit and allow them to get a little bit more balanced. Now we're going to come into some gentle twists in our seat. So again, taking the hands to the ground, we'll inhale, the arms to sky, gaze can follow. And as we exhale, we're going to bring that right hand to the left knee and the left hand behind that left hip. Now we're going to look to try and at least plant the fingertips of our left hand behind us. And we're already getting into a kind of a twist here. Now, if we want to be able to take it a little further, we'll take a deep breath in to create some space. And on the exhale, we'll just slowly use that right hand to pull ourselves back to the left. And we can allow that gaze to follow as we look over the left shoulder. And just breathe into this twist. Again, you might be feeling some tension in the back and the shoulder and the neck. All good signs that we're tapping into places that need to be tapped into with the breath. And if that's the case, just inviting the intention that the breath is coming in to create space, to open up, to dissolve the tension. With your next breath in, we'll twist our torso back around and guide our hands back to the sky. The gaze follows up. And this time as we come down with the exhale, we'll draw the left hand to the right knee and the right hand behind the right hip. Again, just coming into that twist, feeling the twist already. We're either on our fingertips or if your body allows to come down onto the palm, whichever way feels good. I like to try and keep the spine straight and lifted. And when I press my palm down, I start to lean back. So on the next inhale, breathing in, creating space, and on your exhale, using that left hand to pull yourself over, twisting to the right, gazing over that right shoulder, and breathing. With your next inhale, drawing the torso back to center, arms reach overhead. And exhale, arms down through side body. Now this is where we're going to start moving, so I'm going to back up before I give the next cue onto my mat so I can continue to demonstrate for you. So now I'm going to be facing this way because I want to be with my mat parallel. So I'm sitting in my cross legs, or what they would call easy pose or Sukhasana, seated pose. And a lot of times, yogis, the teachers in the studio will tell you to rock up onto your hands and knees. So what we're looking for is coming into a tabletop pose with the knees, the shins, the tops of the feet the hands under the shoulders, wrists under shoulders, and we're creating length in the spine from the head to the tip of the tailbone. So we'll rock forward or move in any way that feels comfortable for you to come onto your hands and knees. Just give it back up here. So as you can see, I'm creating an alignment with the knee to the hip and the wrist to the shoulder. Now, my elbows hyperextend. Yours might look a little more like this, but when my arms are straight, it looks a little silly, so just bear that in mind. So what we're looking for is, instead of dumping all of our weight into our wrists at this point, we're spreading the fingertips wide and almost curling them a little bit. So we're kind of tenting the fingertips so that the weight is more evenly distributed up between the hands. Keeping the tops of the feet planted and rooted, you can see that I'm creating a nice line all the way from the crown of my head to the tip of my tailbone. So this is what we call tabletop, coming onto all fours. And so from here, I invite you to close your eyes so you can again draw your awareness inward, and we're just going to start with a really gentle cat-cow. So with an inhale, we're going to drop the belly as it fills with air, lift the hips, and lift the chin to the sky. And then as you exhale to compress and release the air, we'll draw the shoulder blades apart from each other, tuck the tailbone, and tuck the chin in. So you'll take this at a nice even pace, inhaling to fill the belly, and exhale to release. You can take this a few more times, or as many times as you like. And coming back to a neutral spine on your next inhale, we're going to then connect the big toes together so they're touching. Walk one knee out to about the width of the mat, and then the other. And as you begin to exhale, we're pressing the hips down and back towards the heels, and slowly walking the hands forward to come into our child's pose, or balasana, allowing the forehead and the heart to melt to the mat. A time for restoration and surrender, to refocus our mind, to realign our intention with our practice, and let go of any thoughts that are carrying us away from the here and now. And we're going to just breathe. On your next in-breath, we'll rise back up to our hands and knees. So slowly lifting the head, walking one hand back, and the other hand tucking the knees back in and separating the feet. And here we are back in our tabletop pose. Now from here, we're just going to slowly step into our first downward facing dog. So we'll tuck both of the toes back. And it's going to be the easiest to press up from here. So if ever you're being guided to go into a downward facing dog, maybe it's directly from upward facing dog or a cobra or something like that, you can always come to hands and knees first to be able to lift your hips up to the sky. So with our next inhale, we'll draw the hips back in and up, creating a pyramid with our body. So inhaling, lifting the knees and pressing the hips back. I'm going to walk forward just a little bit. Now, this is going to look different for everyone. You may not have your heels on the ground, you might be here. It might even feel better to bend in the knees so that you can draw the belly back towards the thighs. And what we're looking for, again, my elbows are looking a little silly because of the hyperextension, so don't worry if your arms don't look exactly like mine, or if your legs or your body. It's just a matter of feeling the intention of the energy within this pose.
So you can see if I were to roll my upper body forward, my back begins to curve a little bit. So what I'm looking for is to draw the belly down towards the top of the thighs to create more of a long, straight spine. And we'll just breathe here for a little bit. You can even play with pedaling one knee and then the other, lifting the heel, pressing it in. Maybe even just swaying the hips a little bit. Find what feels good. Again, the same way with our fingertips like we were in the tabletop pose, we're looking to tent the fingertips so we're not dumping all of our weight into our heels, or into our wrists, excuse me. With your next breath in, we're just slowly going to bend the knees and walk the feet forward to meet the hands as wide as you need to. And just coming into what we're calling a forward fold or Uttanasana. So allowing the upper body to hang loose, find a nice bend in the knees. We don't want to lock them quite yet, especially because that can be a really intense stretch up the length of the back of the legs. So we'll just find a bend in the knees. We're inviting our weight into the ball of our foot and our toes. And we're allowing the entire upper body to curl forward, including the head and neck, and completely drop the entire weight of our upper body towards the floor. Now, you may not be touching the ground. That's okay. Just be where you're at and notice how it feels. And again, just coming back to those breaths. And with every breath, as you're in this pose, it will bring you closer and closer to the ground. Another move here that we'll do in yoga a lot is we'll call it a half lift. And so on an inhale, you'll straighten the knees, draw the hands either to the shins, the knees, the shins, the ankles, or the floor, as long as you can keep a straight back. So we'll bring it to the shins and create this straight back for a half lift. And then with an exhale, we'll melt back down, coming into a gentle bend in the knees. So we'll practice that a couple more times. So we'll do 3 more times. Every time we inhale, we'll come into the half lift. And with our exhale, we'll come back down. So inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. And exhale down. Now this time, keeping a nice bend in the knees, with an inhale, we're going to roll our way to standing. And what I mean by that is you're going to intentionally imagine that you're lifting your body up one vertebrae at a time until your head is the last thing to come straight up. So we can sweep the arms through the side as we come up, which feels really good and gives us a little more momentum. So on an inhale, we start to roll the body up one vertebrae at a time, bringing the arms up through the side body. Now, as the head lifts and the arms lift overhead, we're going to gaze to the sky like we did in our seat and exhale the arms down to the side body. I'm just going to turn so you can see, coming into our mountain pose. And what we're looking for in mountain is that our soles of the feet, we're doing that kind of tent action, again, like we were doing with the fingertips, by curling the toes and creating almost a suction with the soles of our feet in the arch of our foot. We're looking for a gentle bend in the knees because we never want to lock our knees when we stand. Tucking the pelvis forward. So this is a really important one. A lot of times, especially in women, we tend to pop our booties out a little bit. So what we want to do, we can bring our right hand to the front body and the back hand, left hand to the back. Notice where our tilt is at and just invite that forward. See the difference? Tilted and tilted. So again, grounded feet, bent knees, pelvis tucked forward. So now we're looking to
draw some space in between the ribs and the tops of the hip bones. So you can notice how my chest kind of comes down when I'm compressing this space, and when I'm lifting it up, the chest comes up, and now there's more space between the ribs and the hips. Taking a moment to notice my shoulders. If they're up like this, we want to, again, relax them down and back. The arms come out to the side body with the fingertips engaged. So it's almost like we're trying to shoot energy out of our fingertips towards the earth. And the chin gently tucks to create really nice, long stability and length in the spine. Long length. And we'll just come into an awareness here and breathe. And just notice how it feels to stand in this very grounded, powerful stance. So with our next inhale, we'll draw those hands up like we did when we were sitting, reaching for the sky. The eyes follow. And this time we're going to fold forward. So on an exhale, we'll allow the arms to come down through the side body, and we're looking to keep as much length in the spine as we can for as long as we can until we allow it to curl and completely melt back down over the toes. So we're inhaling to lift and lengthen, and exhale, allow those hands to come down through the side body. Start to find the bend in the knee as almost you're diving into a pool, drawing the hands down and finding your forward fold. Inhaling for that half lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale. We'll call it root to rise. Press into the feet. Slow roll up. Arms reach through the side body. Gaze to the sky. And this time we'll bring the palms of the hands together overhead. And as you exhale, draw the prayer hands to your heart center. Again, we're looking to find our strong foundation with the feet, the knees, the hips, the core, the shoulders relaxing away from the ears, and the chin tucking. We call this mountain prayer, Anjali Mudra. Mudra is a hand position. From here, we can do that sequence again. Inhaling this time, draw those prayer hands up to the sky. Separate the palms, reach up, gaze lifts. Exhale, sweep the arms out to the side. Draw everything down. Find the bend in the knees. Inhale into that half lift. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, slow rise. Curl the spine, gaze lifts, arms overhead. And exhale this time, just bring the arms down to the side body. So from here, we're just going to go into a little bit of the feeling of some warrior poses, at least maybe the second one, because that's a really, really, really nice one. So what we're going to do is come to the top of our mats. So I'm going to go as far as I can without coming off screen. And we're just in our comfortable standing position. We're going to draw the hands to the hips. And we're going to put our weight into our right foot. And we'll just lift onto the ball of that left foot for now. And just start to feel the energy of the weight of your body into that right foot. And we're going to slowly just step that left foot back and open the hips to the side. Now, what I'm looking for in my feet right now is that my right foot is pointing forward, and my left foot, the back line where the pinky toe is at, is in complete parallel with the back of my mat. Now, you might be able to get deeper than this, or if you want to get deeper, you can see how I'm just inchworming my front foot out forward, or where you're at is perfectly fine. Or if you need a little more stability, you can bring that right foot out towards the edge of the mat, the long edge of your mat, to give yourself a little bit of a more stable foundation for this pose. So this is where we're looking at just the legs momentarily. So what we want to see is drawing the knee over the right ankle and the left leg the back leg is completely straight. Again, we're coming into that tuck with our pelvis, tucking that forward. And we're just rooting down into this, feeling an equal energy going out from both of our legs. Then we can think about the arms. So for Warrior Two, it generally looks like this. So we're spreading our arms out to a T. Our palms are facing down. The thumbs are facing the same way as the front of our body. And we can give our gaze over the right fingertips. This is what your Warrior Two can look like. And we'll just breathe into this. You're going to start feeling maybe some shaking in the legs as the muscles are being activated and they haven't been for a while like this. That's perfectly fine. Taking one more deep breath in. And exhale, we'll draw the hands back to the hips. Now, what I'm going to invite you to do to make a really nice, gentle transition is just start to scoot that back foot in closer until you can pretty much stand with straight legs comfortably. And then we will actually just step that left foot back up to meet the right and come back into our standing posture. Now I'm going to come to the other side of our mat so I can demonstrate the other side, but you can stay facing the way you were. And we're going to do the same thing on the right leg. So again, we're going to draw the weight into the left foot and come up onto the right toes. And when you're ready, we can take a step back with that right foot. And again, we're looking for left toes pointing forward, right toes parallel with the back of the mat, and come into a position where you can comfortably lunge and draw that left knee over the left ankle. Again, we're turning our body forward and facing with the long edge of the mat, drawing the shoulders with it, tucking that pelvis under, finding that foundation, equal energy between both legs. Need to come down into it a little bit more for my own sake. And finding our foundation. Then when you're ready, we'll draw those arms out to a T. This time we'll gaze over those left fingertips and breathe. We'll take 2 more breaths here. This time, bring those hands back to the hips. Again, we're gonna scoot that right foot up a little bit so we can pretty much stand with straight legs comfortably and step that right foot to meet the left. Now we're back in our standing mountain-ish pose at the top of our mat. So from here, we're going to bring this practice to a close because I think we've worked hard enough today. It feels really good to have just tuned into our body and moved. So from here, I'll invite you to just come down to your mat again, finding a comfortable seat. Now, I just want to say thank you, first and foremost, for joining me on this basic journey today. I'm not going to guide you through a Shavasana or what we call our relaxation at the end of practice, but please feel free to turn on some really quiet, beautiful music and allow yourself to lie perfectly still on your back with your legs spread wide, your arms out to your side body, and just let go of everything that you just did in your yoga practice. Let go of the thought of the breath and just surrender. So, I technically just guided you through a little bit of it, but I just want to say thank you for joining me on this journey today, and I hope that you found that this will help you as you go to some of your other yoga practices at studios, and maybe you come back to this and you continue to practice and work on your foundation. So, hands at prayer, at our heart center. The light within me honors and sees the light within you. In yoga, we say namaste. Thank you.